Welcome back to European Chronicles. I am Andrew Meatrich, and today we dive deep into stories that should keep you awake at night. We are bringing you breaking developments from Germany and Spain, two countries facing completely different yet equally terrifying crises. First, we will expose Germany's massive raid operation that uncovered a shocking Chinese smuggling network operating right under everyone's noses, bringing wealthy criminals into Europe for hundreds of thousands of euros. Then we shift to Spain, where hundreds of thousands of citizens are literally taking to the streets, demanding affordable housing as their government fails spectacularly. My name is Andrew Meatrich. I used to work as an analyst for a state-run media outlet, but I chose freedom of speech over top-down directives a long time ago. Support this video with a like and subscribe, because tomorrow the news could change everything. Don't miss it. Now to the first topic, Germany's massive crackdown on Chinese smuggling operations. Here are the facts that will shock you to your core. German authorities just conducted one of the largest coordinated raids in recent history, involving over 1,000 police officers across multiple federal states. They targeted an international criminal network that was literally selling German residency permits to wealthy Chinese nationals for up to 360,000 euros per person. Let me repeat that slowly. 360,000 euros for a single residence permit. The operation seized 210,000 euros in cash, arrested 10 suspects including 2 lawyers, and exposed a scheme involving 350 people, mostly Chinese nationals who bought their way into Germany. This was not just paperwork fraud, this was organized crime at the highest level, operating for years right under everyone's noses. The suspects created fake companies, forged wage payments, bribed public officials with six-figure sums, and even used an elite boarding school where royal children study as a bogus address for their criminal clients. Just imagine that for a second. They were advertising Germany's healthcare system and education like a luxury travel brochure for millionaires who wanted to skip legal immigration. The investigation started in October 2023, which means this network operated freely for years, while honest immigrants waited in endless queues following proper procedures. Over 40 properties were searched across 9 federal states, including Berlin, with suspects detained in Schleswig-Holstein, where the criminal group was based. The network helped hundreds of Chinese nationals enter and stay in Germany illegally, exploiting special visa provisions meant for skilled workers and turning them into a cash-for-citizenship scheme. Some clients paid additional consultancy fees of up to 40,000 euros to law firms involved. You want to know what really gets me fired up about this story? The absolute audacity of these criminals and the complete system failure that allowed this to happen for years without anyone batting an eye. These Chinese smugglers were not just running a simple fraud scheme, they were operating like a full-service luxury immigration agency for the ultra-wealthy. They advertised Germany's healthcare system and educational opportunities like they were running a 5-star resort for millionaires who wanted to skip every legal immigration process that honest people have to endure. They exploited special German immigration rules specifically designed for skilled workers, turning humanitarian policies into a cash-for-citizenship marketplace. And here is where it gets even worse, and I want you to really listen to this part. One of the fake addresses they used was an elite boarding school attended by actual royalty. They registered not just children but entire families there, people who obviously never stepped foot on that campus. The investigation revealed that the main suspects, 2 lawyers aged 42 and 46 from the Cologne area, were the masterminds behind this operation. They contacted German consulates in Shanghai and Canton to get travel visas issued for their criminal clients. Once these wealthy Chinese nationals arrived in Germany, the lawyers helped them obtain residence permits from immigration offices in North Rhine-Westphalia, specifically in Kerpen, Solingen, and the districts of Rhein-Erft and Düren. The investigation has been running since October 2023, which means this criminal network operated freely for years, processing hundreds of wealthy clients, while honest immigrants from war-torn countries waited in refugee camps following proper procedures. They even recruited clients from South Africa and India, expanding their criminal empire across continents. You see the pattern here, right? Money talks, laws walk, and justice becomes. Let us talk about Spain's explosive housing crisis that has reached an absolute breaking point, and I mean complete societal breakdown. Spanish citizens are not just complaining anymore, they are taking massive coordinated action across the entire country. On April 5th, hundreds of thousands of protesters flooded the streets in over 40 cities across Spain under the battle cry, "Let's end the housing business." This was the largest housing protest in over a decade, and the numbers are absolutely staggering and should terrify every European government. Average rents in Spain have nearly doubled in just 10 years, rising from 7.2 euros per square meter in 2014 to 13 euros last year. In Madrid, rents jumped 18.6% in 2024 alone, while in Barcelona they rose 10.9%. Young people are being forced to live with their parents indefinitely because they simply cannot afford independent housing, creating a lost generation of adults trapped in childhood bedrooms. Spain has pathetically less than 2% public housing compared to 14% in France, 16% in Britain, and 34% in the Netherlands. The Spanish government has completely failed to address this crisis, while international hedge funds and foreign investors buy up properties specifically to rent them to wealthy tourists through short-term rental platforms. Home purchase prices have risen 47% between 2015 and 23, with another 8% increase in 2024, and projections show another 5 to 7% rise this year. Meanwhile, average wage increases last year were just 2.8%, well below inflation, creating an impossible mathematical equation for ordinary Spanish workers. The rental situation is even worse, with rents increasing 85% over 10 years, especially devastating major cities and tourist zones where locals And now listen carefully to what is really happening in Spain, because this is not just about high rents, this is about the complete breakdown of social contract between government and citizens. Spanish protesters are now organizing rent strikes, something that has not happened since the 1930s during the Spanish Republic, when over 100,000 tenants refused to pay rent and actually won better conditions. The current situation is so desperate that postal workers earning less than 1,300 euros are paying 600 euros in rent, leaving them with practically nothing to live on. University graduates openly admit they will never be able to live independently. Meanwhile, just 10 landlords own more than 200,000 properties combined. That is almost 9% of all available homes in Spain. These are not small-time property owners. These are massive real estate empires profiting from human desperation. The protesters are demanding 50% rent reductions and indefinite rental contracts. You won't believe this, but some activists are literally hanging from building facades to prevent evictions. We live in times when headlines change by the hour, and the decisions made today in Berlin or Madrid can reshape the future of an entire continent. Germany's crackdown on Chinese smuggling networks exposes how organized crime infiltrates even the most regulated immigration systems, while Spain's housing protests reveal how global speculation can destroy local communities overnight. These are not isolated incidents, they are symptoms of a deeper crisis facing modern Europe. That is why it is more important than ever to stay informed and understand these connections. If this video brought you value, hit like and subscribe. You are not just supporting this channel, you are investing in your own awareness of what is really happening in Europe. We are building an honest English-speaking news community here, and your support helps us continue exposing these critical stories that mainstream media often ignores. Tomorrow, new challenges, new revelations, and new insights await. Stay with us, because you will want to hear what comes next.